What is up, YouTube? Prof Sales coming at you with a Friday on eBay Q&A. Man, that's a lot of rhyming. How's everybody doing out there? It is Friday, February 24th, 2017, and it is a bright sunny day here in the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. It is 75 degrees. It's actually warm. So everybody give a special shout out and a prayer for Karen because she is in a snowstorm trying to work in Nebraska. So, you know, thinking about her definitely and hoping that she's going to be okay. But hopefully she might be able to join us here during the chat, but I kind of doubt. She's kind of out on the road right now. How's everybody doing? Are you guys ready for the weekend? Are you ready for the end of the month? I mean, my gosh, February is almost done. Where do these months go? I swear, the older I get, the quicker time seems to go. It's very unfair. I don't know. But so today I thought we would get together for a little bit and just chat about whatever's on your mind, honestly. I didn't have a real set agenda for this show. So I wanted to kind of leave it open for people to come in, ask questions. You know, we'll try to answer the best we can. Maybe the answer will even come from someone in the chat. It was sort of a last minute thing I decided to do this show, so we'll see how it goes. Nothing like coming in without much of a plan, right? But I did want to bring up one thing, though, and get everybody's feedback on it. You can either leave me a comment in the chat or after this video post. I'm definitely looking to expand the reach of this channel into some other areas. And what I mean by that is people that I think would bring value to you guys and to everybody who's watching, but may not be exactly resellers, for instance. What I mean by that is, you know, reselling is a business for a lot of us. So I think if there's ways to learn how to be better business people, I think there's value in that. So I'm looking to expand out into some other areas and connect with some other people. I've got my eye on a few people. And, you know, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, I know there's a lot of reselling content out there. There's a tremendous amount of ground to cover with that subject. But I also think there's other things that we can do as business people that can make us successful, that maybe people who are not in the reselling world, they could bring a different perspective that we could learn from and incorporate in our businesses. So I'm interested in that. You know, if you think of other topics and so on that you like, or even people that you think might be a good fit for a Connect show, or to come on and just meet them, or to do an interview with, that would be great. Just type in the chat or leave a comment afterwards. Not necessarily resellers, but just, they could be resellers, but people who just have a little bit different perspective and are focused on some other things around the business topics that we are as entrepreneurs and so on. But I'm definitely looking to do that. So be looking for those shows coming in the fall, in the coming months. I'm definitely going to reach out to some other people and some other niches and so on. And I think it'll just kind of bring a different feel and flavor to the shows. And hopefully, I mean, I think you can learn things from anyone. Really, you can learn from anyone, but I think you can learn from anyone who is in maybe a different business than you, but they still have a business mindset. They're not selling the same things as you. They're not doing the same things as you, but they have a different approach. I mean, I think you can always learn something from that and incorporate it. All right, so if you guys have questions, let me know in the chat. Just type question marks. Looks like Robert has a question about Evisu jeans. Any luck selling that brand? Yes. Evisu is a great jean brand out of Japan, I believe. I've sold every pair I've ever listed. I haven't found a ton of them, honestly, that have been sellable. A lot of times they have this cool applique across the back, this graphic. Applique is probably not the right word. This graphic, the way they they make it, but sometimes, a lot of times, that graphic will wear off just because of the way it's on there, and that's why people end up donating them. So you always want to look at that. But Evisu is a great jean brand. So Ashley says, I think it would be great. Marketing is one that people should know about. I constantly want to tell people about why it's important. That's a great point, Ashley. You know, I think as resellers, we leave the marketing up to Amazon and eBay a lot of times, and we probably leave some money on the table when we do that. And what I mean by that comment is we get a listing, we list something on or Poshmark or, you know, any of these other ones too, And then we just assume that it's going to sell because it's up there. And we don't do a good job marketing it. We don't do, and I'm very guilty of it. I do not do a good job marketing my items outside of eBay or Amazon at all. And I think, learning how to market things is key. I mean, obviously you're trying to sell something, and there's different techniques and ways that you can market something that will make it more appealing to the end buyer, and you'll increase your chance of a sale in a shorter time frame, which is what we all like to do. So I think if we could work on that, if I can find some people around that, and I've got my eye on somebody actually who will fit into that. I haven't met them yet, but once I do and kind of make a little more connection with them, we'll see about bringing see if we can integrate their knowledge into our community a little bit and how that could work for you guys. Flip Flop says, yeah, but that's why we pay fees. Yeah, but we more pay fees though, Flip Flop, to be able to sell on their platform. I don't think eBay and Amazon, the two biggies, I don't think they do a particularly great job of marketing people's items. I mean, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of add-ons you can do and things you can pay for that will get you increased exposure on those platforms. But honestly, if I wanted to say if I wanted to promote gene listings, there's not a lot of incentive for me to do things like, the gallery photos and things, all the little extra add-ons, they're escaping me right now, but that costs extra money per listing. It just wouldn't be very economical. If I was selling bigger items that sold for more money, sure. But there's nothing keeping me from promoting my items on social media or Facebook or other areas. I just don't do it. And maybe that's probably a weakness of mine. So I definitely think there's opportunity there, but the platforms themselves, and I don't know that really a lot of people, there's probably some research out there that tells you how successful you are if you use eBay and Amazon's marketing tools. I don't know if you're that successful or not, and even if it is successful, is it worth it? That's the key. Like when you have to pay extra. I know eBay has started going in promoted listings, which I'm interested in checking out. Promoted listings I think Amazon has a similar program, if I'm not mistaken. Basically it means they will promote your listing and advertise it more for you, but you don't pay anything unless it sells. So, that's reasonable. You're not paying anything up front. But I don't know enough about, they call it I think it's just called eBay promoted listings, actually. I could be wrong on that. If I am, somebody tell me in the chat. Let's see what else we got here. Thrifty says, that's Thrifty Mermaid says, branding is also important for when you're marketing your items or store. Yeah, and I definitely am not strong at that at all. I'm not even weak at it. I'm just non-existent at it. And I need to learn that and do a little bit better with that. There's probably some things I could be doing that would help my sales, and I have not taken the time and energy to figure that out. Let's see. I used to buy and sell stuff through Craigslist a couple years ago. Is that interesting? Aviator, that's a lot of people still do that. I still put things up on Craigslist from time to time as well. Craigslist is great, and there's other apps and venues to offer up garage sales, so on. Facebook groups, the yard sale groups, just because you can sell things locally. Cash transaction, you're not paying extra fees. You don't have to wait to get paid. You don't have to jump through any hoops. However, there are some caveats to it too. Obviously, you need to worry about your safety. You want to make sure you meet people in a public place where there's a lot of people around. Second of all, you're going to have a smaller market when you advertise on Craigslist because you're usually only advertising to an area of the country or even the world. Now, I guess Craigslist is in other countries too, but so you're not going to get the reach you're going to get with an Amazon or eBay or Poshmark or Bonanza, all of these, obviously, because you're only targeting a geographic area. Still, with lots of items, that wouldn't matter. If you want to flip your iPhone, your old one, Craigslist is a good way to do it. I mean, you'll get a decent price for it too, a lot of times. Not always top dollar, but it's cash. So that's worth more than paying a bunch of fees, through going through an e-commerce platform. So absolutely Craigslist. Let's see. Hello, Karen. She's in a blizzard. She sent me a video. She's literally in a blizzard. I could hear the wind blowing. And she was in the car, I think. I could hear the wind blowing, into the phone mic from outside the car. Better Barbie, how you doing? Says, so if a buyer sends you a message saying jeans they bought are a little too tight, but aren't sure on returning, do you offer them a partial refund just for good customer service? If you measured them correctly, Better Barbie, and you had that all in your item, your listing and so on, I would be apt to not give them a refund. Only because, it's not really your responsibility to ensure the size of your customers. That's up to them to know their size. And if you measured correctly and you have measurements in your listing and you display that correctly, that's really on the buyer to figure out. I would probably just offer them a full return, tell them you're sorry it didn't work out for them, be glad to do a return and get your item back and resell it. Granted, it's going to cost you a little bit of time and money and energy to relist that item and get it back and sell it again. So you got to decide. But a partial refund, if they're not asking for a refund, it's like, why are you giving them a refund? They could still say, oh, well, I decided I don't want them now and return them anyway. So I wouldn't do it, actually. In that case, if you've done everything correctly. Not to be a jerk to the customer, but there's limits to customer service and how far we can bend over backwards. Let's see what else we got here. Carrie says, customer service would be a great subject for a guest. Customer service is key in any business, important to go above and beyond for our customers. I agree, Carrie. The example notwithstanding I just gave, there's obviously limits to customer service, but there's also a value and a benefit to doing it. Today, for instance, give you guys a great example. So I got a message from a lady. I had this pair of jeans and they were like a men's pair. And let's just say they were 34, 32. And she sent me a message saying, oh, my husband put these on and they're way too short. She said, we noticed in the description that you said that they were actually a 28-inch inseam, but we didn't notice that when you listed it. We didn't notice that. Can we do a refund? Can we return them? So I went and I looked at the listing, and it turns out I'd put what the tag said in the listing title, 34, 32. And yeah, I put there that, hey, they're actually a 28 inseam. But you can see how a person in that case may not have realized that they were a 28-inch inseam because I put in the title what the tag said. So that's an example of where I need to be a better reseller. So you know what I did? I told her, I said, you know what? Totally understand. Sorry the jeans didn't work out for you. Start a return. And I will just go ahead and refund your full price in the shipping and just donate the jeans maybe or give them to somebody else who can use them. So she said, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. She did. She started the return. I processed return, gave her money back. She's obviously keeping the jeans. Guess what? Awesome. This seller is an awesome seller. Would buy from again. That was her feedback. Of course, because I gave her a total refund on item, and I don't think she was scamming or anything like that. And the jeans were not super expensive anyway. The time and energy I was going to put back into relisting them. So in that case, because I'd made a mistake or wasn't as clear as I could have been as a seller, I went ahead and said, hey, I'm going to err on the side. This is what Apple does. They assume that people are not trying to screw them over, the customers. That's the assumption you start with. And you operate from that viewpoint. And I don't think this woman was looking to put one over. She was ready to return them. And I could have resold them and moved on. But I was like, you know what? I kind of screwed this one up a little bit. And I can see how they thought these jeans were a different size than what they are. I'm just going to give them a refund and move on. I got a super positive feedback. Everybody's I mean, I think everybody won in that situation. I mean, she even asked, she said, do you have any other jeans that are this size? So, you know, they were ready to buy another one. And you know what? They will buy another one. I promise you, you know, if they get the opportunity and I have a brand and a fit that'll work for a husband, they'll buy another pair. I don't think I did for that particular brand and fit, but you know, that's just, to me, that's how you provide customer service. So having somebody on for a customer service, that's a great point, Carrie. Thank you for bringing that up. I will definitely make a note of that because it is key. New sub here, Fresh Coast Finds. What's up, Fresh Coast? Glad to see you guys. Sadie's in the house. Country Thrifting Lady, David, Large Bargains, Robert, Jackson, Better Barbie, Surfing Goat. All kinds of people in here today. I'm sure I missed people. Darian Brown. Thank you guys for coming on. 60 people already watching. Hit the like button if you're liking what you hear and lets me know I'm doing a good job. I really do appreciate it. Let's see what other questions we've got. Keep the questions coming. Let's do it. Do you ever offer exchanges in lieu of a refund? Country Thrifting Lady asked. Not usually. I find exchanges to be annoying because I don't know. I mean, they still got to send the item back. So I just usually have them do a refund and then say, hey, we'll work out, you know, whatever after that. Sometimes I'll give them I'll give them like an extra discount off of if they want to get an exchange for something, just because they've had to go through a lot of trouble to buy the item, then ship it back to me. And, you know, they're paying the return shipping, you know, I don't know. I just try to help them out. I mean, they're willing to buy again. So it's like, help them out as much as you can. But I usually don't do an exchange. I don't know why. I just prefer the refund. It's nice and clean and I don't know. But you could certainly do exchanges. All right. Robert has found a ton of EVSU in great condition and haven't sold a pair. They will set for a little while, Robert. Don't get me wrong. But they're a great brand, in my opinion, and you will definitely sell them. Some are worth more than others, but I have no problem selling those, and I don't think most jeans resellers do. You just got to be a little patient and just wait for that right customer. Darian says, what's the minimum active listings must a full-timer have in order to receive a daily income? 500, 1,000? Well, Darian, that depends on what your definition of daily income is. And it also depends on what you want to sell, what sort of amount you need to make from each item. I mean, there's a lot of variables in that. You really kind of need to back up there and say, you know, if I'm going to make this my full-time income, assuming you have all your other ducks in a row and, you know, you got money set aside for an emergency fund and, you know, you got backup plans if it doesn't go well. And you say, all right, I've got to make X number of dollars a day. And if I'm selling this item over here, it's going to make me Y number of dollars each one that I sell. So then you just divide Y into X. And it's like, all right, I need to sell this many a day. I need to sell 10 a day or 20 a day or whatever the number is. And then if you kind of know the sell through of that item, how often it sells, you can sort of figure out what you need. And that, I know that's kind of a complicated explanation, but it's kind of hard to say to somebody, you know, hey, you need to have exactly this many listings up. If you have a 1% sell through on your type of item, let's just make the math simple, and you have 1,000 listings, you're going to sell about 10 a day. And let's say you're making $10 on each one, clear, before tax. So that's $100 a day, $3,000 a month, more or less. Maybe that's enough for you for your goals. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But that's how you can sort of start figuring that part out. It's just too hard for me to say you need, you know, exactly 827 listings. I mean, nobody can be that specific because of those other variables. So always think about it in those terms about how fast it will sell through, what you will make on each one, and then you can figure out how many of them you need to have listed to get a certain amount of income per month, if that's your goal. Let's see. I put in the hand measurements into the condition description box so they can something right away. Express that says, yeah, I mean, I do that too a lot of times. Do you like selling on OfferUp? Not really, Lucky. I got a few items on it right now, but I don't know. I just don't have a lot of luck on it. Maybe I just need to do it more. But is there a reason why I should be worried about eBay closing my account? Or should I be worried about eBay closing my account? The reason I ask is there's lots of YouTube channels saying to have in mind that eBay does not care about sellers. You know, Pomona, there's a lot of negativity out there, obviously, on the part of some people. And I talked about this the other day. You know, if you're going to live your life afraid of eBay or Amazon or an e-commerce platform, which, by the way, on a list of things to be afraid of, an e-commerce platform shutting down your account should probably be fairly low on the list, just, you know, in terms of life fears, in my opinion. But that's another topic. But if you're going to live your life afraid that your account's always going to be shut down, you should probably not be a reseller. You cannot operate that. And that's not to say you shouldn't have backup plans and other streams of income coming in other ways and diversifying your holdings and the way you're running your business. That's a different argument. But, you know, you can't go open up a gas station and be afraid that, well, oil prices are going to spike and people are not going to be able to afford the gas there, so they're not going to come in and buy all the high price stuff we have inside the store. If you did that, nobody would ever do anything. I mean, of course, bad things can happen, but that's part of the risk. Bad things can happen if you do nothing. You know, life is about risk. It's about calculated risk, and that's all we can ever do as resellers. We're taking calculated risks based on, we're going to put these items up and we think they'll sell in this amount of time for this amount of money. And we will, you know, you play by the rules the best you can, eBay's rules, Amazon's rules, whoever's rules. And then the chips fall or they fall. That's all you can really ever do. I mean, I'm just not in this, you know, Chicken Little mindset all the time. The sky is falling with eBay. Of course it could fall out tomorrow. And if it did, I would be devastated for about 10 seconds. And then I'd pick myself up and get to work. I mean, that's really all any of us can ever do. So I don't know. I guess I just don't operate in that mindset all day long. I think it's unproductive, and I think it will paralyze you when it shouldn't. Let's see. How is Wrangler as a brand for jeans? Nah. Okay, surfing. I mean, Wrangler is a great brand. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the most popular brands out there. But in terms of resale, I don't usually see the solds on Wrangler being very high. So if you can get them cheap enough, sure, you can make some profit on them. Bigger sizes are good, especially men's. But as far as a bread and butter brand, I don't really pick them up that often unless I get them really cheap. And that's just because I tend to see that the sale prices, the final sale prices are not that high on most Wranglers. Not all, but most. Let's see. What else are you selling now, Prof, besides jeans? Everything, leisure picker. No, that's not true. There's other things to have out there. There's some, I just relisted some items actually locally that I got back from Amazon because the long-term storage fees were eating me up. So, and they were like random things I picked up like at Kmart that was closing here locally, like space heaters, and there's some light fixtures and so on. I got at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot. I love doing that stuff from the home improvement stores have some great deals sometimes in their clearance sections. And I love to sell that stuff when I can get it. But have you or anyone in the chat been to the Winston-Salem bins? Are they good? We have not been, although large bargains, but we've been near them, so I just don't know. Ace is in my book. Sadie, you're a royal flush in my book, man. I just one-upped you there. Like, I one-upped you as high as we could go. So let's see. Country Thrifting Lady says, offer up. A lot of people don't end up showing up. Yeah, that's always a case with local meetups. You know, I mean, you run that risk. It is what it is. You know, it's just one of the risks you have. You just got to take into account. What I will do, Country Thrifting Lady, if I'm supposed to meet up with somebody to sell something locally, a good rule of thumb, I think, is to plan some other tasks and things you can do either along the way or right after you're done, you know, so that it's not a total wasted trip. Say you're meeting them somewhere 10 minutes away from your house. Maybe you've got things in your home, you know, some trips you needed to do anyway, some errands to run. Do those as well. That way, if you don't meet up with them, it's not like you went there just for that. I try to do that. So at least it minimizes that risk of them not showing up. And if they don't show up, then you still get the errands done, and you didn't feel like you were not productive at all. Oilfield Picker says, love selling jeans. What is your best selling brand? Well, it depends on if you mean most money, sells the most. I mean, Levi's is the biggest selling brand on eBay. And gosh, sometimes I think they push around 1 million listings. It's crazy. Or, well, maybe it's not 1 million, maybe it's 800,000, but I haven't looked recently to see exactly how many it is. But man, they're huge. I mean, they're iconic. They're arguably the most widely distributed. They're the Coca-Cola of jeans. Coca-Cola is probably the most well-known brand in the world. I mean, you can find Coca-Cola in virtually every country on earth. Levi's is right there for jeans. I mean, Levi's is very, very universal and global. So great selling brand, and lots of different fits and sizes you can sell in Levi, and they're pretty common. You can find them. When you're selling jeans that are marked 34s but really 36s, how do you write out your title? Well, Krillin, if you heard the beginning of the show, or the example I gave earlier, you would realize you really should write 36. And what I usually do when paying attention and not making a mistake, like I made with the ladies' pair of jeans from the example from earlier, I will write in the description, hey, tag says 36, but these look to have either shrunk or be smaller. And, if you're including that waist picture with the measuring tape in it, that's even more verifiable evidence. Now, it's tricky, because of how that rise sets sometimes, it can look a little smaller, or it can look it can be bigger than it really looks, actually. But I usually will just write in the description, hey, here's what the tag says, but the actual measurement is this. So there you go. Lauren, what's up? How you doing, Lauren? Lauren says, I have multiple accounts attached to different phone numbers and address and email address. I've never had a problem keeping multiple accounts. Everybody's trying to game the eBay system here and the Amazon system with multiple accounts. Hey, I'm not going to recommend it, but if you want to do it, knock yourself out. Let's see. They only catch you if you do things wrong. We got some people like gaming the system in the chat. I love it. Go guys, do it now. Good luck. I hope you don't run into problems, but hey. Let's see what else we got here. I see people selling alcohol and offer up in Facebook Marketplace. Amazing. Yeah, I don't know that I would do that. That doesn't sound like a good idea. And you certainly can't do that on eBay or Amazon without I don't know if you can sell that stuff at all. Even if can you get authorized to do it if you're a distributor? Maybe. I have no idea. Not interested in, not my market, but the only way to be successful in reselling is put all your eggs in one basket. If you're scared by a puppy. Yeah, you're taking like the Mark Cuban approach here in investing. Like, if something's a good investment, go all in on it. People have different opinions about things like that, but diversification, if you're bringing in income from other areas, diversification can keep you from losing it all. If one of them fails, you still have some income coming in, but it's whatever your risk level is. If you're not afraid and you got time to rebuild and deal with a loss, if disaster does strike and eBay or Amazon or whatever shuts down your account and you lose it all, then, go all in on it if you want. If you're okay with that level of risk. 300,000 results for Levi. Oh, wow, I was way off. What kind of math am I doing? Let's see. You know what? Let's see. Andrew says, you know what is similar to jeans? Coffee mugs. I don't sell them anymore. Not enough profit per item and too much competition. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with the coffee mug market, Andrew, but I think there is profit in jeans, but you definitely would have a more educated opinion on the coffee mug part of it. Let's see. Found a True Religion that has 34 and the black belt label and 32 on the inside. Tag. What gives? Who knows, Krillin? I mean, sometimes the way these genes are measured just baffles me. I've learned just to try not to understand it anymore and just go with whatever the measurement is. The measurement is, and then I'm covered as much as I can be, and let's see. I'm a little behind some of you guys here. Put all your eggs in one basket, master that basket, automate, then move on another basket. Yeah, I mean, you can, Dutch, but I think there's a difference between niching your items that you source and sell versus only doing it on one platform. I mean, I think that's kind of two different arguments. The argument always is that as long as you're on an e-commerce platform, you're always at, the mercy of their rules, and they can change those rules to a way that no longer makes your business model profitable, or you can of course lose your selling privileges altogether. I mean, it does happen to people. Looks like you need a license to sell liquor on eBay. I know people do it anyways. Oof, I don't think I'd do that. Man, that seems pretty risky. But hey, teach their own. It's amazing how much people are talking about alcohol in the chat. I think we hit an important subject there, maybe. Alcohol sells in bad times and good times. Probably worse in the bad times, right? Looks like USPS rates maybe are going up. Yeah, I saw something about this petition, Illinois picker. I don't know. I mean, I guess the argument is that postal rates might be going up again, and this could hurt sellers. I don't know if it does or not. I mean, you certainly incorporate it into the cost you're selling, so it's not going to cost you more. The question is, will it depress sales or not? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if anybody's got like a hard and fast data to show that it does or doesn't. Maybe it does. I mean, it could for sure. At least I would think it might initially, and then it might sort of back off as people get used to the new rate hikes. That's kind of my gut feeling, but I honestly don't know. Coffee mugs, coffee mugs, coffee mugs. I will send you all my coffee mugs. You can have them. I think in the last year I've sold one coffee mug, and it was a Starbucks mug. It was nothing fancy. It was just like a generic mug, and it sold overseas, which freaked me out because I'm like, oh man, this thing is going to Europe. What's the chances this is going to end up in one piece? So it ended up being pretty expensive for the person who bought it. I mean, they ended up paying like $30 for this thing, and or maybe 40. Maybe it was $40 with all the shipping. And I got good feedback on it, so I must have got there in one piece. Prof, when are you doing another video with Bonafide Hustler? That's a great question, Lucky, and I might reach out to Chris at some point if he'll come on our channel, and we'll set something up. But Chris is awesome, and he has got a business person's mindset, and I love that about him. He's also a positive guy, and I love that about him too. So always a lot of fun to do a show with him. That's probably the second one I've done, although the first one I've done was just he and I. So we'll see what happens. Just stay tuned. I include 10 measurements in listing jeans. Front, back, rise, inseam, total length. Yeah. I mean, measurements are good on jeans, obviously, because people want to know. I don't know if I think 10 for me would be a little overkill. I mean, you're certainly not going to run the risk of somebody saying, hey, you didn't measure something if you put in 10 measurements. But for me, I think that's a little much, especially if it was like a men's jean. Men don't really tend to care that much about, I mean, waist and inseam's about it. So, women will ask sometimes for the front rise. I've had people ask for the knee measurement, for hips, for the cuff opening, for the outseam, for the back rise. I mean, all the less common measurements, if you will. But certainly putting measurements in jeans helps people make a better decision. You kind of never know who looked at that item and decided to buy it because you had a measurement in it. that you never know that. Like, they just buy it. And you also never know, if you don't put a measurement in there, if someone looked at it and said, man, if I only knew what this measurement was, I'd probably buy these. You'll never know what that number is too. It's some number greater than 0 in both cases, but you'll never know exactly how many people that is. So that's why a lot of sellers err on the side of, hey, I'm just gonna put a bunch of measurements and hedge my bets. Of course, it takes more time, so you have to weigh that off. Let's see. Flip-flop says, initially USPS pricing shocks people. Sellers raise prices, buyers don't even know. And then sellers all catch up, buyers adjust. Yeah, I think that's probably what will happen too. I think that's what will happen, flip-flops, with the new USPS. If USPS goes up again, I mean, understand, guys, when shipping rates go up, here's something for all the newer sellers out there. When shipping rates go up, you absolutely, as a seller, are not going to take a hit on it costing you more to ship, because you are going to figure that price into your pricing strategy. Whether you're doing free shipping, you're going to push your prices up a little bit for the total amount, or if you're doing calculator flat shipping, calculate doesn't really matter. If you're doing flat rate, then you're going to push it up there too. So what matters is, or what could happen is, that it might have a little bit of a chilling effect on the market, and people won't buy as much for a while because of the cost of shipping. I don't know. I mean, I tend to think it won't be a big factor, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Plus, on men's jeans, the waist usually matches the tag. Women's are different, don't I know, Illinois. I agree with you. Women's sizing, man, I'm not even gonna get into that whole measurement inseam debate again. It was just craziness. So, hey, what's up?
You have jeans.
Oh, they didn't take it. Great. So speaking of shipping, guys, I had a couple orders I stuck in my mailbox for the mailman to take, and he took one, but not the other one. Awesome. So now I am going to have to go to the post office and deliver this. Anyway, let's see. Do you use a Chromebook, MacBook, or Windows for eBay business? I use a MacBook Air, and I love it, Ryan. Awesome little computer. Lots of reasons. Have you been going to swap meets or flea markets, Prof? We believe, Leisure, this is going to sound crazy, but here in Charlotte, we don't really have a lot of great swap meets and flea markets. Now, there are some that are a little further out of the city limits, but they're a little bit of a drive. The ones we have around here tend to be fairly high priced in terms of what you find there. I'm not saying you can't ever find a good deal. I'm not saying that, but I just don't think, when I put in that time versus profit equation, that the ones around me tend to be that profitable. So we don't really spend much time at them. We've checked them out, we've investigated them, but they just haven't been that great. 7 jeans for $4. Are those 7 jeans or 7 for all mankind? Surf and Goat, there is a difference. Total time photographing a pair of jeans. If you add in the amount of time to edit them too, I'm going to say, I actually tried something a little different the last few days since Karin hasn't been here to photograph. I've been doing some photographs of my own. And I would say that time it's definitely no more than 5 minutes, honestly. It's pretty quick. I mean, I only take about 5 or 6 photos, and I kind of know exactly where to hold the camera and, how to set them up. It doesn't take that long. And I actually edit each one as I go, so then it's done. I'm getting some new offers. Best offer. What does your typical eBay work week look like? I'll let you know when there is a typical week. No, in all seriousness, no, Fresh Coast Finds. I mean, obviously, we plan our sourcing for a whole month at a time. So we set days that we're going to go do the sourcing and knock that out. We come up with the listing. Listing is a relatively 6-day-a-week endeavor. Shipping and packing is a 6 to 7 day a week endeavor, honestly. And then there's all the other intangibles too that come up as well. But it just kind of grinds through every week. It doesn't really change that much. So Sorry, that's not a great answer. I could probably expand on that. Lots of great questions today, man. You guys are killing it with these questions. Let's see. I always stay away from women's clothing. No offense, it's just too much hassle. Yeah, I hear you, Dutch, but man, there's an awful lot of profit in women's clothing that can be made. So, you know, you got to consider that too. Let's see. All right. Trying to get through all the questions here. Seven for all mankind jeans for $4? Absolutely. Surf and Goat. I would buy those 100% of the time. Pretty much any 7 for all mankind jeans I would buy for $4. I can't think of any fit or size that I would not buy for $4. That's a good deal. Do you keep the photos you take or delete them? Delete them. Had a whole big discussion about that with a few friends of mine the other day, and it was interesting. You know, what would happen if you wanted to hold on to your listing, you know, and be able to cross-post it to other platforms and always have a record of it. And the problem comes in, it's like, how do you store the photos and where? Like, how do you connect the photo to the listing information? And it gets to be some pretty big storage requirements when you do that, but we delete them. Worst case, we could always retake them. I mean, it wouldn't take that long for a specific pair. Now, if they all went down, that would be a problem. Let's see. On the subject of your listings that come with your store, don't leave anything on the table at the end of the month. Use them all. Yep. And a listing counts when you sell something. That counts as a listing too. So don't forget that part. It's done. That counted as a listing. Or if you have a good to cancel that rolls over in the next month, that counts as a listing. Let's see. What else we got here? Are there some brands of jeans you stay away from because of the risk of counterfeits? Maka's mom, I'm not sure how you say that. Yes. Well, I won't say I stay away from them. I'm just a lot more cautious when I buy them. True Religion and Diesel have a history of being faked. They're great brands, but I definitely take extra time to authenticate them. And if I have any question in the store of whether it's counterfeit or not, I don't buy it. It's that simple. I just don't even risk it. Not worth it. Do you ever plan for vacation? And if you do, how do you plan around it? Pomona, that's a great question, and I'm not an expert at this. In the past, I have put my store on vacation. However, I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to look to expand my handling time to like 5 business days or 7 business days so that technically I could keep my store going. Now, that's going to hurt you for your what is your top is it top rated status? It depends on handling time. I can't remember, but top rated seller. So because you're going to have a bunch there, they're going to be longer handling time. But if you're moving a lot of volume, a few here and there is not going to kill you. So that's what I think I might try this year. I might just try to increase my handling time so that I can catch up to them when I get back from vacation. Because putting your store on vacation means you don't get any sales during that time. Like, it's totally shut down. And I didn't really like doing that in the past. I haven't liked it. I feel like I'm leaving money on the table. So I'm going to try it a little differently this year. We'll see what happens. Change the handling time. Yeah, somebody said. Do larger women's sizes of jeans sell better? I don't know if they sell better. I mean, it depends what you mean by better. Do they go for a little more money? Yes. Do they sell faster? Not necessarily, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So I guess you would say they would sell better by that definition. Let's see. All right. Is it top rated status that affects King? Yeah. But, if you're only doing it for a week, it's not going to be that many. So I doubt you would lose your status over that. So anyway, what kind of lighting do you use for taking pictures? Do you have a mannequin? What do you use to take pictures? All right, the first two. Yes, we have a female mannequin. We're ordering a male mannequin because of some issues we've been having with that. We use iPhones, iPhone 6. Yeah, whatever one it is now. Maybe 6, I think. We don't have the 7, 6. What kind of lighting do you use for taking pictures? You can see them behind me. Those are Cowboy Studio, big light boxes, soft box, I think they're called. and they have 5 bulbs in them you can turn on and off individually, and they have a tripod at the bottom that you can expand out or shrink down, and they can, of course, go vertically as well. So they were great. We plug them into a power strip, guys, and we leave the lights on, but we just turn the strip on and off. That way you can just reach down with your foot and turn the lights on, or reach down with your foot and turn them off. So you don't have to go and turn each one off. Efficiency, right? Every little second counts. It takes forever to load to switch the handling time. Huh. Oh, that's good to know, King. I haven't done it before, so I guess I'll find out. You can still get sales when your store is on vacation? I didn't know that. I didn't know. So what's the point of putting on vacation then? Just that they're telling the people that, hey, this seller's away and you're not going to get this item for a moment. If that's true, then I'll just leave it on vacation, whatever. But anyway, Diana, hey Diana, how you doing? Says she's late, but she was at the bins and got 102 pounds for $112. Nice. That's awesome. Awesome. Tiffany asked, do you have a link? I'm not sure what you're asking a link for, Tiffany. So I don't know. Great idea with the power strip. Totally doing that. Yep. Real simple. Just turns them both off. Actually, Karen likes that because she doesn't want to like bend all. And you could even mount the power strip up under the underside of your table or on the side of if you wanted. Not a bad idea either. And that way you could just flip the switch with your hand. Another way you could do it. Simple, all kinds of little hacks like that. Nothing too complicated. Vacation mode covers you for the shipping handling. That is the advantage. Yeah, I gotta look into this vacation thing because we're gonna be going this summer on a couple trips. Both are business related. We might be heading out west to Colorado, guys. So if you're in the Colorado area, maybe we can connect with some of you guys. We're still putting the plan together for that. So I don't want to get too much into the details of that, but it'll definitely be this summer. Do you key in measurements on a draft listing as you are measuring? Do I key in measurements on a draft listing? I put in, for jeans, for instance, I put of course, the size and the inseam measurement. The rise is a little bit different how it allows you to choose, but I actually have 3 measurements that are in my description field, or my condition field rather, as long as also with the name of the item. So when I pull in the item title, it also has the 3 measurements that I put with every pair as well. I throw that into the condition field, and then I pull just the title part up to the title. And this is all on a template. So that way, I'm kind of pulling in, and then it's already preset with all my other factors, shipping and handling and all that good stuff. How long you been a boss at selling on eBay? That's just fine to me, Lucky, for some reason. I don't know. I'll let you know when I become one. How about that? I use a power strip also. Yep. Vacation doesn't cover handling. 2 different things according to eBay. Yeah, I really got to think about that vacation part a little bit of handling and how I'm going to do that. Because it is important, guys, to make sure you're hitting your windows. If you commit to handling 1 day or 2 day or whatever your time frame is, you need to hit it. So, I mean, that's kind of like a condition of the sale for, in a lot of buyers' eyes. You're like, well, you agree that you were going to get this out to me in 1 business day, and you didn't. So, for the light behind you, Tiffany, that's a great question. I think I'm going to put some. I figured that's what you were talking about, Tiffany, but I wasn't sure. I think I'm going to put the links to to a bunch of our items that we use in our business in my description going forward. I actually have that set up. I just haven't done it. And then you guys can go check it out and decide if you want to get them or not. And they're just like Amazon links, basically. So I'm going to put that in the description, and then they'll all be there. Going on vacation, use your store vacation settings. Yeah, exactly. Vacation, man, I guess we got to start thinking about that, right? I mean, vacations, summer will be here in 3 months or so. It's not that far away. Do you write measurements down on Notepad and then later type the listing up looking at the Notepad? No, Fred, not exactly. What I do is I track my listings in the spreadsheet that I have. So I create the title. There's a column for the title. And there's also a column for measurements. And then I'll have one right here in front of me. It prints out a tag. The tag prints out. Oh, I don't have it plugged in. I was going to print this for you. I just realized I don't have the printer plugged in. So basically what happens is the tag prints out, and it and where in my spreadsheet I have that column where the measurements are, I pull like the title description and the measurement fields over into the listing in basically where the condition is. And then I just throw the location in the custom label field, and I throw the title into the title field, and there you go. So I don't write it down. I find when I write things, I make a lot more mistakes, so I'd rather type it in. It's easier to change and it's easier to move. Just my personal. You should do a video on vacation handling. I think it'd be a crappy video, Lauren. I don't think I know much about it. I transfer my measurements from the photos. You can do that too, Lady Halfling. I've done that. Like you take a photo of the measurement, and then when you put the photos in, you're looking at the photos. I've done that before. I've looked at the photos on another device and typed in the measurements. But I like having them on the tag as well, the inventory tag. And the reason is because as we move towards, having other people working in this business, it gives another way for people to be able to enter that info if they're entering the listing info at a different time than when it's being created in the spreadsheet. That sounded very complicated, and it's really not. I did not explain that very well, but just trust me when I say it's good to have it in that other place just because of that reason when you have somebody else who's going to see it later. I have a tape measure taped to my desk so I won't lose it. Yeah, Diana, I have, I wonder if I can do this or not. I'm going to try to do something really crazy here, and you guys are going to, if the internet shuts down here, it wasn't me. So I'm going to show you what I do if I can turn my laptop here for a second. So I actually did this. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. There's a tape measure taped under the desk, and my desk is glass. So what I use that for is, let me pull the mic back over here. Sorry if it was a little loud. So what I use that for is when if I've got an item in my lap and I'm, putting in the info, the description, so on, I can lay it right there in measurement, and I don't have to keep picking up the tape and pulling it out and putting it to the side and grabbing the tape again. It's nice just to have it in one place, and then you can just lay your item out, measure, and then move on. I can't take credit for that. Somebody else came up with that, and I stole it from them. But I thought it was a good idea. I was like, I am so tired, because if you guys know, like, when you have these tailors, tape measures, what's I mean, these things are great, but what's not so great about them is when you lay them somewhere like on a ledge or just on a little bit of an incline, they slide right off. Like they're kind of slick. So, or, you've got to unfold them and get them going the right way. And I just got so tired of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tape one of these up under this glass desk and lay stuff there. And if it's really long, I can always lay out, this other one I have here and measure something if it's like a really long inseam, for instance. But I find that little tape measure under the desk comes in so valuable. Like I don't have to worry about where the tape measure is, right there. Just boom, good to go. Diana says, I did the same thing. Yeah, it's just, and you don't have to have a glass desk. I like it. I love that I have the glass desk now because it's underneath. So that way I'm never, an item is never actually hitting it. So it's not going to pull loose. So I can just leave it taped there forever if I want. Gosh, this was supposed to go a half hour, guys, and we're almost at an hour. I guess I might as well go to 3 at this point. Sorry. Let's see what else we got here. Lots of good questions today, though. Man, just awesome. Tape a tape measure to a long flat stick helps with the pictures. That makes sense. That makes total sense. What Real Life says, what video of yours would I watch to see how to do spreadsheets? That is a great question, Real Life Resale. I sell a copy of the spreadsheet that I use over on Gumroad, and there's a link in the description. But if you don't want to go that route and you want to create your own, I don't think I've ever done a video on exactly how to create that spreadsheet because it would be really long. And honestly, I think it would be really boring. I mean, I love spreadsheets. I think they're pretty cool. I think they provide you a lot of functionality. But I realize I'm in the minority when I say that. There's lots of people who are like, I could care less about it. I just need it to work. And I get that approach. So I've never actually done a video on how to create a seller spreadsheet. I've seen a couple of these videos out there where people do that. You know, you can, I mean, they're okay, but honestly, it can be kind of a complex topic, and to explain it in 30 minutes is kind of tricky. So I just don't really have a great answer for you that one. Sorry about that. But I do have lots of videos where I show you how I'm using a spreadsheet to, you know, keep track of things in the business, especially inventory. I mean, to me, I would say it like this, guys. If you're not tracking your inventory in some other way, if you're depending on just eBay's listing and their custom label field, or even just the description field, I think that's a recipe for disaster, because at some point you're going to type the wrong thing. You are absolutely going to type the wrong thing. I don't care how careful you are. And if you have it in a second place, that gives you a frame of reference for where that item might be. And you're going to be able to have a better chance of finding. I have so far never lost an item. And I've been close several times. There's been a few weird oddballs, but I've never actually lost an item. And it's only because of the inventory system I've set up has kept me from losing items. So I've never had to tell a customer. I did have to tell them one time that I sent their item to the wrong person. And that was because I screwed up. Like, I flip-flopped 2 orders that I processed. I sent this, and one of them went to Germany, which really sucked that they got the wrong item. And, you know, I made it right. I don't remember what I did to make it right. I might have had another one or something, but you got to have a way to find your stuff. So anyway, Dan, you do kind of look like me. Hey, brother, how you doing? That's my identical twin brother, Dan Chandler. That's pretty funny. We do kind of favor from that picture. Be on the lookout for Donald Trump red ties. Yeah, I've heard that Trump stuff is going for crazy prices. I know his books have gone for great prices. And regardless of politics, guys, you can always find some value when somebody, you know, makes a splash. Sometimes it's with them leaving office if they're a public official, sometimes in them coming into office. So yeah, that's obviously a great item to be on the lookout for, stuff that has Trump on it. And definitely check your solds, though, and completeds there. eBay sometimes lists 2 to 3 the same listing. Inventory apart for eBay saves me. Yep, I've had that happen too. And every time my inventory system has caught it. Let's see. I use a spreadsheet, label all totes, and list all the items inside the tote. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, large bargains, but I get frustrated when I hear people say, oh, I don't do anything. I just keep track of it all in my head. And I'm like, try to do that with thousands of items. It's not going to happen. And I bet even with several dozen items, you're probably not keeping as good a track as you think. Because when things sit for a while, if you list something today and it sells in October, what are the chances you're going to remember exactly where it is and what it is and all the, if you're just trying to keep all that in your mind and you've got a lot of items listed? I mean, we forget. I mean, our brains are not designed to just remember all this minutia. That's what computers are good at. They're good at keeping track of minutia. They're good at crunching numbers, and they just sit there and store it until you need it. And then when you need it, you go and get it. So that's what I look at it as. It saves me time and money and efficiency. It gains me efficiency when I have a good inventory system. So what about Ivanka? No idea if her stuff's valuable or not. Does anyone know how long it takes Google to find your listings? I've heard different estimations on that. Flip my lid. I've heard that it takes 6 weeks. I don't know if that's true or not, but Maybe someone else wants to chime in on that. Hard to know. And Illinois says 30 days. Yeah, at least 30 days. Yeah, I'm sure it's not exactly a set amount of time. Computers are better than people. Can't wait for VR to. Yeah, King, but you got to remember something. Computers are made by people. So figure that one out. Let's see here. Not Trump shirts, ties only. All right. When Martha Stewart was in jail, made a killing selling her books. Now nothing. There you go. It's weird. Like we have this interest and fascination in people for certain reasons that, and then after, you know, that reason goes away, we just don't care anymore. Glenn, what's up, man? What's up, Swamp? I'm running a test. I'll let you know. King Flip, are you saying Skynet should go online? Yeah. Did anybody see too that UPS is going to be doing drone delivery as well? I don't know. Speaking of Skynet, I don't know if you guys saw that story. UPS is. I saw a video there. It's kind of interesting because the drones land on their truck and the driver loads the package into the drone. They can hold more than Amazon's. Apparently, these drones can hold up to 10 pounds. I think Amazon's are designed to do 5. And then I guess the efficiency is the driver's doing part of the route and the drone's doing part of the route. And so when the drone lands, it charges for a little bit and then goes back out again. But it's kind of interesting. So be looking for UPS drones. That is going to be so freaky the first time something gets delivered to my house and it's a freaking drone. I mean, is it going to ring the doorbell too? I don't know. Maybe it will, or it'll make a sound. Will it come at night, like at 3 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. But man, the world is just changing like crazy. Let's see here. When I expanded my eBay, I looked for software to handle inventory and listing, found 6-bit software. I have heard good things about 6-bit Oilfield, but I have not taken the leap to get to use it. But I have found, but I've heard Oilfield that the problem with all this third-party software is latency. And basically that means that it takes a while for listings to propagate. It takes a while for photos to upload and attach to the listing. Just everything is slowed down. It gets there, but it just doesn't get there very quickly like it does just going straight through eBay system, which kind of makes sense. But maybe you can speak more to that. But I have heard good things about 6-bit. It's a subscription model. I don't remember how much it is per month, maybe 20, 30 bucks a month, something like that. Your package will be back. Nice. I see what you did there. Isn't Skynet from 1990 Total Recall company? No, man, it's from Terminator. Come on. Flip-flops, I'm sorry. If you don't know Skynet's from Terminator, you may not be allowed on my channel anymore. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. When you move to Colorado, we'll take you on a tour of the Coors Brewery. Nice. Let's see here. Yeah, it would be bad if the drone shows up at 3 a.m. Yeah, I'm interested in that too. Will drones have a time frame? It would be more efficient if they could move 24 hours, right? It would seem like that would be an efficient model. Like drones could deliver when people are asleep. But I don't know if that's really going to be the case. Maybe they're very quiet. Who knows? Is there a reason when I choose parcel USPS shipping that I don't get an eBay discount? I don't know. Maybe somebody else will know that. Yeah. Yeah. Terminator was before Total Recall, I'm pretty sure, in the pantheon of movies. And a better movie, if you ask me. But yeah, Skynet, man, come on. Great set of movies, too, if you ask me. Just a lot of fun, interesting topics. But anyway, that's for another show. Let's see what else. All right, guys. Well, listen, 101 viewers, which is ridiculous. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to call it a day, though, because I've been on for an hour, and it was supposed to be a half an hour. So let me know if you like this content. Hit the like button down below. Leave a comment or question if you want. Also, don't forget to tell me about other topics you would like to hear outside of the reselling community, people that could bring a different flavor to the channel, because I'm definitely going to be looking for some people, some guests like that. I think it'll be really interesting. I'll do my best to pick people that I think what they bring to the table will transpose to what we do in this community. So let me know that in the comments too, if you want. And I really appreciate it. You guys came out. I know it was impromptu. I just decided, hey, let's go on and take some questions and see what happens. So thank you guys for showing up. I hope you have an awesome weekend. It's the last weekend of February, guys. So run that sale. If you've got a store on eBay, that'll help your sales. Even if you only take 5 or 10% off, it'll help. And, you know, just keep listening, keep grinding away, keep doing what it takes every day. Don't give up. It's the ones who persevere and don't give up. It's not they're better than you. They just don't quit. So you don't quit either. All right, guys, it's going to do it for today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys real soon. Thanks.